Hello, everyone, and welcome to the newest segment of AltoVita News. We are going to be spotlighting our newest employees. And first of all, I'd like to spotlight myself because I am also new to the AltoVita team. But today is not about me. Today is about our relocation specialist, Ben Cross, who is the host of the hottest show in the relocation sector, Love and Relo. So, let's have a chat with Ben about his career and why he has chosen AltoVita. So, hi Ben, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you?
Yeah, so thanks so much. It's really nice to be here and excited to be joining this segment. And as you mentioned, I do host a daily show. It's the only daily show in the relocation and global mobility industry called Love and Relo, which broadcasts on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously each day at 4 p.m. Eastern US and 9 o'clock GMT. So yeah, very excited to be here and very excited to join the AltaVita team.
Awesome. So, I'm just going to jump straight to it. Why did you
Please.
choose AltoVita?
I was so blown away by the product, honestly.
Mhm.
When I met Vivi and Carolina, the entrepreneurs that started AltaVita, I kind of looked at it and I was like, okay, another corporate housing company. And I knew a lot of people in corporate housing, and I've had a lot of exposure to corporate housing and kind of worked with a lot of companies and partnered with people in different ways and interviewed a lot of leaders from corporate housing. And I felt like I kind of had a pretty good pulse on what was happening in the industry. And when I saw their product, I was really blown away because in so many ways, what they were doing is what so many people were aspiring to do. And what they were delivering was what so many other companies were saying that they were delivering, but were falling short of. So, like, case in point, right? But
Yeah.
truly integrating with actual supply out there so you can have instantaneous booking experience. This is to me kind of the holy grail of corporate housing technology.
Mhm.
And it's something that a lot of corporate housing companies have been saying that they're doing and have been kind of advertising that they do. But in reality, it's a very manual process with a bunch of human beings behind the scenes scurrying around. I call it the human hamster wheel, where, an order comes in and then a whole bunch of people kind of go around and put these PDFs together and these attachments and photographs
Yeah.
and rates and everything, and then try to send it back in a matter of hours, a lot of times a matter of days, and pretend that it's automation, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
but human beings, I mean, here we are, we're actually using travel software all the time in our personal lives. And when we go on the internet and we look for a place to stay or an airline or a car rental, we know that we should be able to put in some dates, put in a location,
Mhm.
a couple of criteria maybe, and come up with some real time options and then be able to book those now immediately. And to me, it was kind of mind-boggling that that wasn't happening. And then when I
Yeah.
saw what AltaVita was delivering, I was like, wow, this is like a breath of fresh air. And so that's one of the things that really caught my eye first. And then I saw these wonderful entrepreneurs, and I'm like, these like people, like so many people don't know about AltaVita yet, which is crazy because they've been doing it for years now. But
Yeah.
it to me, it was just like on the verge of just popping and breaking through in such a major way and just revolutionizing the industry. I was like, I
Mhm.
got to be a part of this, and I got to, just see where this goes and take this to the next level. It was like in my soul.
Awesome. And would you say that's one of the things that makes Alta Vita different from any other place that you've worked at?
Yeah, I think the thing that makes AltaVita so AltaVita it really benefits from being a newer company. And I
Mhm.
mean, it's not brand new. I mean, it's several years old, but newer in the sense that they're not tied to legacy systems.
Yeah.
Companies I've worked with in the past, I'm not even kidding, still use green screens, typewriters and word processors. There's fax machines. So like they're tied to these processes because if they were to do something totally different, they'd have to throw out all this technology, start from scratch. Business operations would be down for days, maybe weeks, maybe longer. And they just can't afford to do it. So they never rip the band-aid off. And so
Mhm.
I think AltaVita really benefits from the fact that they were born in the 21st century. They were born in the 20 teens, and as such, they were developed that way, right? And so they were
Mm-hmm.
built with modern day technology, and with an emphasis on integrating integration. So it's not like a bunch of manual processes that are being migrated and
Yeah.
integrated over and digitized. They start from digital, right? And so they're digital first. And I think
Yes.
that and I read something somewhere, it's like, if you're going to go work for a company, you better make sure they're a digital first company. And this was like 5 years ago, right?
Wow.
And I think that that's where they're at right now. And I think that that's what is going to propel them forward in a really big way in the next year or two.
That's excellent. So, if you were to describe our company in 3 words in your perception, what would those 3 words be?
3 words. Wow. Okay. There's so many cliches out there, right? Like
Hmm.
innovative, right? I'm not going to use innovative because that's like, even though it's so super true, it's super cliche. I'm going to use 3 words that kind of come up in conversations all the time with the senior leadership team.
Okay.
Humble, right? When I talk to Vivian and Carolina, it's always no ego, right? And
Mm.
I think that enables them to be truly successful, because there's no sacred cows in the business, right? It's no ego. It's so humble and humility. Humble would be one. Um, I would say dedicated. We got off a sales call with a client just today, and they were blown away by the amount of homework that we did, right? They told us some things and we said, yes, we can do that. And then we actually went back and we actually looked at it. We did research. We read through all these, federal regulations,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, pages and tens of pages of things like that. And then we actually built it, right, for the call 2 weeks later. So that level of dedication, I think, is unrivaled. Um, and I would say the last would be, I would say, I would say integrity, that we do what we say we're going to do. And what's funny
Yeah.
is, like, those concepts are not technological and techy. Those are human concepts. Those are good business concepts. And
Hmm.
but we do all that within the realm of technology.
Wonderful. I mean, the 3 words you've used to describe, I can actually say that I see that in both Vivi and Carolina a lot, and I just find it absolutely amazing. So, moving on to my very last question, how do you think the global mobility industry has changed over the years?
Wow. I think there's like phases, right? And there's like generations, and there's like global mobility 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. And I think that since I've been in the business for about 15 years, really deep in it, probably the last 10, I've seen it go from a very relationship driven, kind of old school business, where it was very much about kind of who you know, who knows you. There's these kind of, it's very cliquish, when I go to these conferences, and a very closed network. And then there was this kind of push to digitize, and all these lump sum portals came out, and it was kind of an aggregation,
Hmm.
and what they would do is they would be, let's get all the great providers and put them in one place, and then put a digital platform up and let people, give people all this choice. And I think now kind of 3.0, where it's going to, is from aggregation to curation, and saying, okay, we're going to pick
Hmm.
the best. We're not going to pick all, we're going to pick the best. And from digitization, where we're going to offer them online, to actually integrating and doing real time. So from online to real time. It's one thing to say, hey, we have, 20 properties. It's another thing to say, we have 20 properties and here's their real time availability, real time
Yeah.
pricing, real time amenities. And I think that's where it's going right now. I think currently we are in aggregator mode right now, and
Hmm.
there's a rush to provide everything and to be all things to everyone and provide these lump sum portals, which I think is a total miss right now. But I think that the smart companies, and I think AltoVita is one of those, is
Yes.
actually looking at how do we curate and just offer the best, and how do we offer it instantaneously. And so I think speed is going to win in the future. I'm really excited about it.
Perfect. That's all the questions I have for you then. And I would like to know if you have any questions for me.
Yeah, this is really cool to talk to you because we're both kind of at similar stages in our journey here with the company. But I would ask you, why did you join AltoVita? What got you excited about the company?
Right. I joined AltoVita because I saw when I had my initial interviews with Carolina and Vivi, I was inspired by both of them. I was inspired by their character and also by their dedication. They built their company from the ground up. And what I find fascinating is that they are constantly learning and they are evolving with their brand. And seeing two female leaders inspires me because it shows me that I can be where they are, so they make me want to be a better person. And when you're working in an environment, for me, I think it's important to bond and click with the people that you're working with, but also to be inspired by them. Because when you are inspired by them, that will reflect in the work that you do for the company overall. And I think it's really important to have strong female leadership and to look up to them so that as the younger generation progress, they also see that I can do what they are doing. So I'm inspired by both of them, and that is why I joined AltaVita.
Awesome. That's so cool. Well, yeah, I mean, very similar experience on my end as well. Let me ask you one other question too,
Sure.
while we just have a moment. You've worked for some really kind of cool luxury brands in the past, and we don't always maybe think of corporate housing as a luxury brand, although I think Altavita might be kind of redefining that. I sometimes joke with Vivian, so I think Altavita is the iPhone of corporate housing.
Very.
But how do you see some of that from a branding standpoint, from as a marketer? What are some of the challenges and some of the opportunities you see in creating branding and marketing touch points?
Firstly, I think it's all about having simple branding, branding that people can recognize and relate to. So many times brands try to always put their logo or put strong images on everything that they do to be recognized. But over the years, I've learned that a strong brand is having something very simple to identify you. So even if you don't have the logo or the name of the company, that symbol or that design or that pattern will speak for the company. And when that reflects across everything you do, it makes the brand stronger. So it's not about having busy pieces of content, but having something that is simple and that will reflect well on the branding.
Hmm,
I
well
can
said.
definitely see, I can definitely see AltaVita doing that because when you look at the branding, it's very simple. And in its simplicity, it's very hard to forget. Whereas if you have something that is busy, you can easily forget it because there's so many things happening. But what I really love about the branding is the simplicity because it captures you. And you almost wonder, but why is it so simple? Because it started from a humble beginning and it's evolving and developing in its simplicity.
Well, and I think also when you look at it, we as marketers and people who are out there representing brands and building this stuff, we need to always be building context in the marketplace so that when you look at a brand, it could be a simple logo, but it evokes so much context in the mind of the person who's looking at it, right? And
Yes,
so,
definitely.
we do a lot of content marketing, we do a lot of event marketing, we do a lot of, creating value for our community and
Mhm.
engagement points. And I think in doing that, hopefully we can build brand so that when you look at that simple design that is actually the brand, the logo, right? It evokes so much experience and positive connotation. I mean, that's kind of the challenge I'm looking forward to as we continue to do things like the Corporate Housing Symposium and the Innovation Summit, which is coming up. I mean, Vivi and Carolina, one of the things that I love about them too is they think totally differently. They think
Yes.
differently about the way media is used. They think differently about the way influence is used. And I think that they really get it and they really understand it. And
Hmm.
because they're not tied to legacy things and the way things have always been done, they're
Yes.
willing to do things differently. And that's pretty exciting for me because that's what I like to do
And this is why I just love them both.
too.
This is why I am inspired by them because they don't think inside the box. They go outside of the box, but they add a different touch to it. And it's not always something that everyone is doing. It could be something so simple, yet that very simple product turns into something so grand and so memorable for the brand. So it's a journey that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, me too. Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, it was wonderful having this chat with you, Ben, and I look forward to having many more chats and many more collaborations. Thank
Me
you.
too, Rihanna. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.